Hey, sports and drafts fans, it's Wednesday, just ahead of week 2 of the NFL, and we've got a busy show tonight. How's it going, Dave? Are you feeling good?
Good,
Better?
man. I'm all right. I'm still on the mend,
All right.
but I'm
Hey,
here.
awesome. It's good to see you. And a lot of stuff happened in week 1. I thought there were some good games in week 1 and some real letdowns, and that we'll get into. We'll touch on. But before we go, we have our brew of the week, and I changed up stores today because I've been basically shopping at Bevmo. Since I moved here, haven't really found a good little liquor store that carries a bunch of unique craft beers or anything like that, like I had in Santa Clarita. But so I've been basically going to Bevmo, but today I started going over, checked out Total Wine. They have a really great selection of beers that Bevmo doesn't have and such. And so today I chose a beer that's out of Tucson, Arizona. And I'm really trying to pick a lot of local beers if they've got the flavors I like. But this is called Weapons Check, 1912 Brewery. And it is an Irish-style red. And fits
nice color.
right. Yeah, it fits right in my repertoire of color and taste and everything. But it's malty, biscuit, and hop spice. But yeah, so yeah, no, it's really tasty. And this is one that I'll actually end up getting, but it comes in a pint, the 4-pint cans, and I'm trying to see the ABV. ABV is just 4.7, and that's really kind of the standard for a lot of the reds, the Irish reds. Smittix is kind of down there, I think 4.9-ish, or under the 5 there, but quite tasty. Again, local brew, Arizona brew, 1912 Brewery, Weapons Check it's called. And quite tasty. So I'm going to take a sip while you share what you've got this week.
Nice. This week I'm going back to my friends in Oceanside, California, Belching Beaver. Shout out to our friend Beth that works in marketing there. She sent these to our house. So this is their low cali hoppy lager. It's a 4.2%. As you can see on the can there, this is, everyone's trying to have their healthier beer, but it's got 95 calories, 3 grams of carbs. You get one gram of protein in it even. So yeah, 4.2%. Here's the color, real light. Nice light beer. Haven't had it before. She sent us a 6-pack. She also sent us some other beers, one that I will highlight next week. So me and my wife have a great relationship with Belching Beaver down there in Oceanside, so I'll probably be featuring quite a few of their beers on the show. Hey, maybe we get a sponsor one day, Wouldn't that be great?
It's got to happen someday. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. And your team did well this week, I think, so you should be quite happy. And so thanks for joining the show. Yeah, no, this is Belching Beaver. This Total Wine's got a huge selection of Belching Beaver options there, and but yeah, so I already got, I think, a couple weeks worth of ideas from Total Wine. But again, so enjoy. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Before we get started, there was a couple quick little things I thought that you had sent me, and I gotta say, this first one that you sent, this is really the epitome of put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. He was already in, but starting quarterback dislocates his finger, runs over to the sideline, has a coach pop it back in, and runs back out and throws a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, that's actually my Play-It Thru guy this week.
Just because, really?
Yeah, just because it's it was a situational one. It's usually we hit causes and afflictions and stuff, but when I saw this, I was just like, wow, like I got to give this kid a shout out for playing it through, like, in the game. I mean, to have your finger like basically dislocated and pop back in for the game-winning drive. I mean, they were down by 5, and he threw the winning touchdown with a minute 9 left. So they had to get a touchdown to win. They couldn't go for the field goal. So
Right.
he knew he had to keep going. So yeah, he just, hey, pop that sucker back in. I'm going to win this thing. And, he did it. This is only this kid's second game for Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
This is first year starter, and they're at home, and you can't lose to Toledo at home if you're Notre Dame. So, he kind of created a new little legend for himself by playing it through, and just incredible. Good for this kid. I mean, it'll be a story that he'll get to hang his hat on for, a long time.
So I'm sorry. I thought when you sent me these pictures, this was just kind of one of the show openers. I didn't know it went with the other ones.
Oh yeah, no, we'll just get it out of the way early.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a couple more over here.
So those are my friends. So it was their anniversary. They're from Northern California, and my friend Josh there. He's from Chino, like he's from Northern California, but he's always been a Notre Dame fan and never been to a game. So for their anniversary, his wife decided, hey, let's take you to a Notre Dame game. And so we got to go, and, there's their seats. And he got to see the Play-It Thru Person of the Week win the game. First time he'd ever been there. The last picture, where Touchdown Jesus is what they call that monument there in South Bend, Indiana. And so it was his first time at a Notre Dame game, lifetime fan for 40 years, and got to see his first game, got to see him win it at the end like that. So pretty cool for my friends to be there from Northern California.
That's awesome. And then just one other thing before we get into football, I'm going to let you talk about this one because I literally didn't follow this one.
Oh, this was just a shout out respect. I mean, any guy that hits 3 home runs in any major league game, I got to shout out. The Mets they were the first team I ever loved in 1985 when I was growing up. So I'm a little bit of a Mets fan still, even though I'm truly a Giants fan. I do have always kind of followed in like the Mets, but, they did it against the Yankees. So you got the, big city rivalry that went all weekend through 9/11. They had a great game, on Saturday with a lot of tributes. The Yankees wore the New York Police Department hats. The Mets wore the New York Fire Department hats on the field. And, they had a lot of activities throughout the weekend to, honor those in 9/11 and just, never forget and highlight that. So really big series this weekend during the 9/11 weekend. And, very close games. And, he ended up hitting 3 home runs the other day to win that game for the Mets. The Yankees did win on 9/11, but then the Mets won the next game, and he had those 3 home runs. So shout out to a great series this weekend that a lot of people tuned into for those New York teams, and they really put on a show for everybody. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, 3 home runs in a game. Yeah, I've never done that. Never will. I was never a home run here. I don't think I've ever hit a home run, to be honest. No, I haven't.
I've never hit one over the fence.
And yeah, in the park I have, but never over the
never
fence.
Hit one over the fence.
Was not a power hitter. Was not a slugger. So a lot going on. Week 1. I mean, kicking off last Thursday with Dallas and the Bucks, and I honestly thought that was a damn good game for the first one coming out. I mean, there was a lot of offense and some good defensive plays. I mean, I really thought that was a great opening game, and it really tested. First game out for Dallas to test yourself against the Super Bowl champs to see where you're at. Of course, they came up short, and but they made a run for it for a while there at the end. But I think my favorite part of that game was, Cowboys are advancing down the field or scoring or whatever, and they cut away to Tom Brady over on the sideline. He's just like looking at it. Looks like he's just reading a novel over on the side on the bench, like, all right, just tell me when I got to go back in and go down the field, And Mr. Cool, I thought, and they were able to go down the field and win that game. I thought that was a really good game.
I mean, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT for a reason. All the hoopla, first game champions, they get to celebrate in the stadium, first game after regular season game after winning the Super Bowl. And then I thought it was a lot of positives for both teams. I mean, you wondered about Dak Prescott. He missed so much time. Rumors in the summer, was his arm strong? Was he still having issues? And he went out and slung it. His receivers played well. He threw the ball well. Like you said, a lot of points for a week one game. Usually it takes a while for everyone to gel and the offense to get going. And I mean, they both lit it up. They both had a lot of points. A lot of the position players, the weapons, a lot of guys touched the ball for both teams. It wasn't just like one person carrying the load for either team. They were distributing the ball all over the place. So yeah, I thought it was a great first game for the NFL to have on Thursday night, national TV, exciting game. You get the GOAT. Dallas just left a little bit too much time because they left over a minute on the clock for him to get in field goal range, and he only needs a minute or less. So he did it. He does what he does, and he calmly went down the field and got him in position. The kicker made the kick, and but yeah, great first game overall for the NFL, I thought.
Yeah, and after that game, I was pretty much set up for the win in fantasy because I have Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and the kicker, Matt Prater. So I was pretty much at just under 70 points on Thursday. I had half of my points Thursday, and so. But other than that, what was your favorite game of the week? I mean, maybe that was it, but did you have a favorite game of the week?
Favorite game of the week. It's the first half. It was my Niner game, of course, but then the second half it became my worst game of the week. So it kind of flipped on me. But I don't know. I think maybe my best game of the week was the Steelers upsetting the Bills because I didn't see that coming. Steelers really played really well. I had picked the Bills. I believe you had picked the Bills, and
yeah,
the Steelers held them. I didn't see their defense being able to hold that offense down and Josh Allen down, and I thought the Steelers did a great job. And it was still a pretty close game. It wasn't an overtime game like the Vikings and the Bengals, or the Raiders and Ravens, but I thought. And that one really is up, but I really thought the Steelers winning I thought that was pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, no, that was good. I think for me, Thursday game, just the first game, getting back into it was probably my favorite game. I didn't get to watch it. We were away. My wife and I were not at home for the morning games on Sunday, but I'm sure I would have enjoyed. Probably my answer would have been the Cardinals win over the Titans. And that butt whooping there. I mean, Titans were favored by 3 and lost 38-13.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's just the Titans are that bad or the Cardinals are that good. But good on the home team here. So your offensive. What about your offensive player of the week? Who do you think did the best this week that you saw?
I mean, I have to give it up. I talked trash about him last week and said he was going to throw some interceptions, but Jameis Winston had 5 touchdown passes against a good Packer team when they're displaced and had to go play in Jacksonville. So it's really a neutral field, and he went out and just kicked their ass. And he doesn't have his number one receiver there. Michael Thomas is out, due to injury and stuff. And so he comes right in and throws 5 touchdown passes, and Aaron Rodgers is the one throwing interceptions. So that took a complete flip for me of what I thought would happen. So I have to give Jameis Winston the respect and eat some crow. 5 touchdown passes against a team that went to the NFC Championship last year. So, I got to give it to him.
Yeah, my offensive player of the week was Aaron Rodgers because I had to decide if starting Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. So he made that an easy decision. Of course, I was going to go with Tom Brady, but he was on my bench fantasy-wise. So, no, it was Kyler Murray for me. Only 289 yards, which means that they had a good running game. Obviously, their defense played well, but I just chose Kyler Murray. On the defensive side, though, I picked somebody that I shared with you earlier. The guy's not going to show up on any stat line. I actually looked, and it doesn't have any stats for this guy. Really, none of the sites have a lot of stats set up for the defensive players. But it's $10 bucks. I think it's a guard or nose guard. Vita Vea. Again, not a guy. He's not a defense. He's not in a glory position at all. Down in the trenches in the line. But what I did notice watching that game is this guy was a part of every rush play. Every play he was disrupting Dak Prescott, the running lanes. This guy was manhandling the offensive guard and almost every play. And getting in the backfield, getting deep, either pushing Dak left or right, or getting to him or pushing him. So to me, it was just like, hey, this is one of the unknowns of the defense, or but yeah, Vita Vea for me for the Bucs was my defensive player of the week.
Yeah, and I'm going back to your hometown now. So my defensive player of the week is Chandler Jones. I mean, the guy got 5 sacks, had 3 in the first quarter, 2 in the third quarter. So he had 5 actually in the first 3 quarters, all his sacks. But, you get 10 in a season, you're a pretty good player. If you can get 15, you're an elite player and you're making big money. And he's already, a third of the way to elite money right there, which he wants a new contract. He believes he deserves it. And maybe that's why he was a little amped up week 1 to show why he deserves that money. And it's not going to hurt when he goes to the table of, hey, I can have a 5-sack game. I don't know if we'll see that from anyone else all year. I mean, I'd have to research it. Maybe I will, but I don't remember anyone having 5 sacks in one game last year. So, he's already starting out really well ahead of everybody. So that was just super impressive to me. So that Chandler Jones would be my pick from the Cardinals.
Nice. Well, before we get on to week 2, hey, if you guys or anyone watching, put in, what was your favorite game? Who's your defensive player of the week that you saw that really stood out, whether they're on your team or some other team? And there's one other category I want to touch on each week, because it's never too early to talk about what coaches are on the hot seat. So I got 3 names. I did a little bit of research, and 3 names that are out there, and I want to throw them at you to see, hey, here we are. It's only week 1, right? But taking everything into consideration, how long they've been there, maybe we know what the record was last year and their trends. But basically, for me, these 3 coaches are on the hot seat. That would be Mike Vrabel of the Titans, Frank Reich of the Colts, and Mike Zimmer for the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's Mike Vrabel for the Titans, and you got Derrick Henry. I believe I said it last week in picking the Titans game. Tannehill was already past his prime. They can't carry momentum with Tannehill. That was a mistake going into to continue. Tannehill was washed up when he got there, and then all of a sudden got the fountain of youth for a couple of years. But that was never going to last. And any team that thought that was going to last, any coach and administration and management that thought that Tannehill was going to take you to the promised land is, it's not going to happen. And so for me, out of those 3, Mike Vrabel, I'll say, do you have one of those 3, or maybe you think somebody else out there should be on the hot seat after week 1?
I mean, really, out of those ones, from how long he's been with the team, and I haven't seen that much improvement, I would go with, Mike Zimmer with the Vikings. He's got talent there. I mean, you got Kirk Cousins, who isn't, like I said last week, he's not going to win games for you. He's not going to lose games for you, but he's got good guys around him on the offense. He's got Cook. He had Jefferson that had one of the best rookie wide receiving years ever. He's got Thielen, who had a big game this weekend also. Decent line, all that, but they're not going anywhere. Like, they don't win with him. They don't make the playoffs. The only thing that could save him is nobody in the NFC North won this week. The Lions lost, the Bears lost. I mean, the Packers lost. They're all 0-1, so it's not like he's already a game behind. But still, he's been there long enough, and I just haven't seen a lot of improvement enough that you wouldn't make a switch sometime soon, probably with him and probably with Kirk Cousins, just to get some fresh life in there somehow, get some youth in there, they need some juice. They got some talent, but they need some juice somewhere at the top positions, head coaching and quarterback, I think, to get over the hump, to kind of be better. And that division really is kind of right for the picking. I mean, You have Rodgers that is almost done, almost didn't come back. You got Detroit, who's just terrible. And then, we let them back in at the 49ers, but we were ahead by almost 30, like most of that game. They're not going to win many games. And then you got the Bears, who have a new quarterback. We don't really know what's happening with them, but, they're not a team that's been on fire the last few years or anything. They're decent, but they're not like winning the division. So, I'm really kind of disappointed in Minnesota because they should be able to take, or at least compete with the Packers to win the NFC North. And they don't. They're not. So I think they need a change.
Very good. No, I'm right there with you. Zimmer's been there. He's had the reins of that program for a while, and it should be further along than what it is. But so, hey, we're going to move on. We're going to real quickly, we're going to recap our week 1 picks. And here they are. Our crack graphics team put together this, if you can't see Dave there. Dave came up a little bit short this week.
Rough week 1 for me
in our picks, and yeah. So overall, our first week standings, we'll keep this ticker going. But Dave was 5-11 on his picks, and I was an even 8-8. And but I think where I picked up some of them was on those underdogs. 4 out of the 5 picks that we were different on, I was able to pick up those games. And I think the Bears-Rams game was the only one. I picked the Bears to cover with the Rams, and you won that. But I had the Chargers, Bengals, and Cardinals, and one other, Texans.
Yeah.
And all won outright, not just covered the spread, but won outright. So, be fun. I love it. This week, though, this week is going to be a little bit tougher, I think, with the picks. I was looking over them, and I'll get this graphic up here. This week for me is going to be a little bit tougher. I think I'm going to maybe give up what I do there. Give up some ground this week and to you. Sorry, I'm breaking my thing here. Anyway, I was on the wrong screen. There we go. Let's get in here so we can see these games. But so here we have our picks and our spreads, and so we got tomorrow night. We got the Giants at Washington, and Washington is favored by 4.5 here. Depending on what lines you're looking at, there may be a little bit different, but we got a 4.5 point. Cited to Washington by 4.5. I'll go first on this. I'm actually going to take the Giants in this to cover. And what about you?
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think 4.5 for a Washington team that, didn't win last week. Over a Charger team who's pretty good but had to travel clear across the country for week 1. You need to do better. I know their quarterback went down fairly early, but I see the Giants being good enough to definitely cover a 4.5 point spread. Washington still may win, but I don't think they'll win by more than a field goal with their backup quarterback. They are at home, but they were at home last week and they lost. And the Giants aren't traveling very far. That's a bus trip, not a flight. I'll take the Giants in this one.
And I think that her Saquon Barkley is going to be back tomorrow night also.
Yeah.
So moving on down here, we have New England at the Jets. New England 4.5 point favorites on the road. What do you think about that?
I'll take the Patriots. You got Belichick, defensive-minded, greatest coach of all time against a rookie quarterback. Once again, it's a bus trip. They're not traveling very far. I just don't see the Jets as a very good team. They don't have a very good running game. They used 3 running backs, and no one really ran anywhere last week for them. So I don't even know if they'll have to stack the box, but they can basically just blitz and make that rookie quarterback throw a lot and make mistakes. And so I'll take the Patriots in this one.
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots. I'm just going to go with the Bill Belichick as the deciding factor. But I think game management here, neither one of them have, a great quarterback. I'm just going to take. There's really no analysis. I'm just taking the Patriots.
Rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. So
yeah.
Who knows? But I'll give it to New England.
A decent spread. Denver at Jacksonville. Denver 6.5-point favorites here. I'm taking the Broncos. Yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos on the road in Jacksonville against the Jaguars.
Yeah, me too. It's ridiculous, but they made that rookie quarterback his first game ever. I don't know if Urban Meyer, someone told him this isn't college when he got there, but the first pick of the draft threw the ball over 50 times last week. I mean, a good passing team throws the ball 30 to 35 times. He threw the ball over 50 times his first regular season game. I mean, do you want to blow the pitcher's arm out? I know he's young, but good Lord, he had 3 touchdowns, but he also had 3 interceptions. That's not going to work against Denver either. I mean, you got Von Miller over there rushing the quarterback, and if you have him drop back over 50 times, I don't know if he makes it to week 3 against Denver. So from what I saw from Jacksonville last week and what I saw from Denver, Denver's kind of an underrated team. I mean, they're healthy now. Teddy Bridgewater can get some stuff done, even though they lost a receiver, Jerry Jeudy, to injury. Cortland Sutton's going to be healthy. Melvin Gordon had a great day running the football week 1 for them. So, yeah, I see Denver, winning by a touchdown, winning by 7.
Okay. Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo is 3.5-point favorites. I think we're going to differ here. I circled the Dolphins. Did a little bit of research on this, and I just, based on their wins or losses last week, just looked at kind of a quarterback comparison, running backs, receivers, and just in what I looked at today, I'm just going to pick the Dolphins. They may lose by a field goal, and I still win on that. Or, still a win on that. But, yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins.
I'm going to take Buffalo just because I don't know if I can trust week 1 as truly who they were. I think with the Steelers coming out and hitting them in the mouth like they did, it might be a big wake-up call to a good team, and I think maybe they'll rebound and be really pissed off this week. And it's division game, so these division games kind of count more than other games. So I think they'll be pretty amped up to try to get to Tua, and I think Josh Allen will play a lot better. So I'm going to pick Buffalo for that reason.
Okay. So San Francisco is traveling to Philadelphia. San Francisco is still favored by 3.5 on the road. What do you think about that?
I'm not going to pick against my team.
I know.
we played a really great first half, and then Shanahan does what he does and took his foot off the gas, just like he did in the Super Bowl when he was coaching the Falcons and Tom Brady came back from the biggest deficit ever in Super Bowl history because he stopped running the plays that got us up by almost 30 in the first half and started doing that, completely different offense, wasn't running the same stuff, allowed them to get back in it, took some starters out to rest them, and then they took advantage, got some touchdowns, got back in it, gave us a scare at the end. I wasn't really worried that we were going to lose. I wasn't really worried that we were even going to not make the spread that was 7.5 when we were up by 8 at the end. I had confidence we would do all that, but I think it was a good kick in the butt in week 1 to still get a win, still win by 8, but also know that you can't finish like that in the NFL. They should have won by 20. So I think if they can play like they did in the first half against Philadelphia, who had a really good game, they played really well. Jalen Hurts played really well. So I think this will be a close game. But I'm just going to go with my team because I think they learned a valuable lesson second half of last week that you gotta keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, we're going to differ here. I'm taking the Eagles. Again, it could be a 3-point win for the 49ers. And I can cover there. But looking at the two teams and the injuries with the 49ers, and just the same thing that you just said, just not teams get a lead. I'm just going to take the Eagles here at home. Let's call it home field advantage for my pick. So the Rams are going to Indy. And the Rams are 3.5-point favorites. A lot of these are 3.5-point favorites. 3.5-point spreads, just enough to make you go one way or the other. Play the spread, but yeah, I mean, I'm just going to take the Rams here. I mean, I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the Rams look very impressive with Stafford against the Bears. I know they'll be on the road, but the Colts lost to the Seahawks. When I look at the Rams roster and the Seahawks roster, I don't see a ton of difference, and I even think the Rams have more playmakers on defense than the Seahawks do right now. So yeah, I got to take the Rams because I don't see Indianapolis being that much better than Chicago, and the Rams destroyed Chicago. So I'll take the Rams.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Raiders going to Pittsburgh? This is a pretty big spread. I mean, this is a touchdown, and to a team that tried to lose the game a couple of times Monday. I mean, a couple of times. It was like I was sitting there going, "Oh, they're gonna mess this up. They're gonna mess this up." And sure enough, throws an interception. Carr throws an interception in the end zone there, and I'm like, "Yep, that was bound to happen. That was gonna happen. We all knew that was gonna happen." But then the I thought, okay, it's all Ravens now. And but the Ravens couldn't convert, and Raiders got luck. The Raiders got lucky to win that win. I think. I thought Baltimore was a better team, but what do you think? With 6.5 points I'm sorry, Pittsburgh's getting the 6.5. Sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry. Yeah. So Pittsburgh's a touchdown favorite.
I see this as, Pittsburgh had such a great win against Buffalo, who was rated very highly this year. And then who knows to make of the Raiders? When I saw that and they thought they won the game and all the players are on the field like it was over and the review was still happening, and I was like, of course the Raiders, this is happening with the Raiders. And of course they can't get into the end zone from 1 inch away on first down to win the game. And
right,
it gets to third down and he throws a pick in the end zone. I'm like, of course he did. But the Ravens just blew it. I got auto drafted Lamar Jackson in my fantasy league because I wasn't in on it on time. And oh man, I might have to find a trade, or I might have to pick up a free agent because he just can't throw for 300 yards. And then he runs a little bit, but not big plays like he did MVP season a few years ago or whatever. I haven't seen that Lamar Jackson for a couple years. So I don't know. It's hard to pick, but I would say I'm going to take Pittsburgh at home. It's a hard place to win at. I think the Raiders even though they won, I still don't think they're a very consistent team. I don't think they're a very good team. I saw a ton of errors from them during the game. One of the funniest stats I saw is one of their right tackles. I think their rookie right tackle for the Raiders, it came up and said, he's their first or second round pick or something, and most penalized tackle in college last year before he got picked. And I was like, yeah, no shit. And they probably drafted some wide receiver no one's heard of that ran a 4.0, that is never going to catch a ball, probably with their first or second round pick. Like, they just don't change, and it's hilarious. So, I mean, I got to pick the Steelers at home with how impressive they were. And I can't ever pick the Raiders because I don't know what's going to happen any game they play ever.
Yeah, I think 6.5 is big, and I'm not sold on the Steelers. I'm still just they're, for me, it's just, again, it's the same team every year, and they've been in a decline. I think this is tough for me because I actually on the sheet you sent me, I circled the Raiders, but I'm not going to actually pick them yet because 6.5 is a big gap and to win by. You know what? I'm going to stick with the Raiders, and I'm going to stick with the Raiders, and maybe they won't lose by 2 field goals.
Maybe Mariota will get another 25-yard run.
Yeah, but then he hurt himself on that run. He re-aggravated the quad injury that
That poor
held him up
guy.
and freeze. I know, and it's like you get in one play, big huge play, it sets him up well, and then you're hurt. So hey, now we're at Cincinnati is going to Chicago. Chicago's favored here by 3.5. Trying to yeah, I took the Bears on this. I took the Bears on this.
I'm going to take the Bears because they're my second favorite team. I want to see – I watched the Bear game. I didn't hear Khalil Mack's name a whole lot. And I think at home against rookie quarterback Joe Burrow, that was a tough game for the Bengals last week. They pulled it out. But you got a rookie quarterback, second-year quarterback who coming back from injury, missed a lot of time. You got Mack and Hicks coming at him in Chicago. I really wish the Bears would start playing Justin Fields over Andy Dalton sooner than later because I think they need points, and I don't see Andy Dalton getting them points. Thank goodness David Montgomery ran pretty well for the Bears, so that was nice for the Bears. But they need that kid to run around and make some plays, and I think you just throw him in early. So, but this is against Andy Dalton's old team. He was with the Bengals for a long time, so his teammates should want to get this win for him also, as he's a veteran. So I'm going to pick the Bears.
Cool. Moving right along, Texans are visiting the Browns, and this is the second biggest spread of the week. Browns are favored by 11.5. After losing, I mean, it was a close game, and I honestly thought for the longest time watching that Cleveland KC game that Cleveland was going to win this game, and but they fell asleep, and Patrick Mahomes came back and won that game. I believe I gotta look. Oh, this was my question mark of the week. I haven't really picked this one yet. I mean, Houston won pretty handily last week.
Yeah, they didn't look bad.
I think that's a big spread. You know what? I'm gonna take Houston on this. I think Houston loses the game, but that's just too many points to give Cleveland. I think they're not proven to be able to win by that margin for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, I thought Tyrod Taylor managed the game well. Mark Ingram came in and ran the ball pretty efficiently. They had pretty good time of possession. And for me, like 11.5, that's a big spread, like you said, for a Cleveland team that really hasn't done a ton. I mean, they can turn it off at times. And that Cleveland-Kansas City game was almost one of my favorite games, too, last week. It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
But, yeah, 11.5 against a Houston team that looked pretty damn solid in the first week against a Cleveland team that gave up a lot of points. I think Houston may lose, but I don't know if they lose by 11.5.
Yeah. So Kim was asking about checking in on who do we pick for the Chargers. That's a couple of games away, Kim, so stay tuned. We're almost there. We're getting down there. Or several games away here. So the Saints, Teddy Bridgewater going to Carolina. New Orleans, 3.5. Yeah, I think I took the Saints. Yeah, I took the Saints. I'll give Teddy I'll ride the Teddy train.
Oh, this is Jameis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Famous Jameis.
Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how I got that in my head, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were so impressive against the Packers last week. And once again, this isn't a very far traveling game for them. It's a division game. Saints look so, just so impressive, and I can't put any money on Sam Darnold. Even though he got McCaffrey back, and McCaffrey touched the ball like 9,000 times.
Yeah.
Just put your safety in a linebacker and follow McCaffrey around the whole game, and you're going to beat the Panthers. who else are you going to get the ball to with Sam Darnold? So, I got to take New Orleans too.
Yeah. So what about Minnesota at Arizona? Arizona, we got a home game here. Arizona is favored by 4.5. What say you?
I'm taking Arizona after how they played last week, and I feel like the Titans are better than the Vikings, and Arizona's at home, and Murray's going to be running all over the place, and Chandler Jones is going to get 5 more sacks on Kirk Cousins, who can't move out of the pocket. You know exactly where he's going to be on a 3 or a 5-step drop. You just got to run to the spot if you're Chandler Jones. So, yeah, I totally think Arizona takes that momentum from last week and blasts the Vikings also.
Yeah, I'm taking that's an easy pick for me, and I'm a homer. So, I'll take Arizona there. So our biggest spread of the week is Atlanta going back into Tampa Bay or going to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's favored by 12.5. That's a lot of points. You're basically saying 2 touchdowns. Touchdown, 2 field goal. So. But Atlanta did not look impressive at all last week. So I picked the Bucks on this.
Yeah, I picked the Bucks also just because I think Atlanta may be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. Since they lost that Super Bowl, Matt Ryan has just had nothing in the tank. I thought Mike Davis might come in and run the ball hard for them this year. First game, he didn't do anything. Calvin Ridley, the very good receiver in the league, he hardly did anything last week. I see Atlanta going in a real rebuild direction very, very soon, where they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. So I will take Tampa to absolutely smash them at home.
Yeah. So Tennessee is going to Seattle, the 12th man up there. Seattle's favored by 6.5, and I think this game's going to be closer. I'm picking the Titans on this. Sorry, Seahawk fans, all of our family and friends up in Washington, but
I'm gonna take the Hawks just because it's their first game at home. They're very, very good at home. I feel like the Titans, might play better for sure, but especially with A.J. Brown, Julio Jones against the secondary that Seattle has, at least the corners. Their safeties are strong. Seattle corners are not strong this year. But Russell Wilson will give them enough offense. I see DK Metcalf making a bunch of plays this week. Lockett made a lot of plays last week. You got Magic and Russell Wilson. You got Bobby Wagner, who's a good matchup for Derrick Henry. It's a linebacker that can actually tackle Derrick Henry and meet him in the hole and run him down. And probably one of the best linebackers in the league in Bobby Wagner. So I think he'll be up for the challenge to follow Derrick Henry. And like I said, Seattle's really good at home, and it's their first game at home this year. So I'll take Seattle.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's playing for his job, so they're not going. I don't think they're going to lose this. I think it's going to be close. I mean, it's 6.5 points.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
So, so as long as Tennessee doesn't lose by more than a couple field goals, I'll cover there. But all right, Kim, we're finally to your game. Dallas is headed to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles to play the Chargers, and the Chargers, as strong as Dallas played against the Bucs, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, that the Chargers are favored against America's team. Before Justin Herbert got there, that would never happen. But it's 3.5. And Kim, taking the Chargers. I'm on the Chargers bandwagon here, and because I think they can put up more. I think they can put up more offense than Dallas can right now. Dallas is also down. It was just announced today. They just lost another defensive stud. I forgot, is it defensive end or tackle? but he's out at least 6 weeks with a broken foot. He broke his foot at practice today, and so their defense just continues to get banged up. And it's an ongoing story every year. Their defense is always banged up, and I think that Justin Herbert will be able to pass on them all day. I don't think they'll be able. I think they can stop the run for the Chargers, but I don't think that they can. They'll slow down the pass.
Good. I think I'm going to do what I did last week, and I'm going to just to see if it's a theme. I'm going to pick Dallas, just in hopes. I want the Chargers to win because I don't like Dallas, and I do like the Chargers, and I love Justin Herbert. But I was wrong last week when I picked Washington to beat the Chargers. So I'm going to pick Dallas this week and see if it's a theme to see if I'll be wrong again, so the Chargers will win. So I'm just going to pick Dallas to see if this is a thing this year. And then week 3, I'll pick against the Chargers. And week 4, I'm going to pick against the Chargers. And, maybe I'll just keep being wrong and they'll keep winning. And that will make everybody, happy. And they can trash me. And all my family can yell at me because there's a lot of Charger fans. So I'm just going to stir the pot. I'm picking Dallas simply to stir the pot, but I hope the Chargers win.
There you go. 2 games left. So the last Sunday game is the Sunday night game is Kansas City. Kim says, thanks, Dave. And, she'll take anything for her team to win. So Kansas City's going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. KC I'm surprised, is just a 2.5-point favorite. Who do you got here?
I got Patrick Mahomes against a team that lost to the frickin' Raiders in overtime. Oh, I take KC by a field goal easy. Team that has gone to the Super Bowl twice in the last few years, number 1 player rated in the NFL, going against the team that just sucked it up on Monday Night Football against the Raiders. Oh, yeah, I'm glad this spread's only 2.5. I probably would have took it if it was 6.5.
Oh, I wouldn't take it if it was 6.5. I actually circled the Ravens here, but I'm not going to pick them yet. And the reason I circled the Ravens because I thought the Chiefs, they had a slow start. They always they have a great third quarter. The Chiefs do, but they were actually even slow with their third quarter this last week. I want to take the Ravens here. And I'll be honest with you, on this sheet it was 3.5 points, and now it's 2.5 points over here, and that's really going to change my mind because that's a field goal. And I can win still or get that victory there. I'm gonna change my earlier pick from the Ravens to the Chiefs, and I'll take the Chiefs on this. And it's the smart play. I mean, it's a smart play. Finally, Monday night, Detroit at Green Bay. Both these teams are. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked at how poorly Aaron Rodgers played, and that whole team played. And I'm not putting it on Aaron Rodgers, but how poorly that team played, and that they think that they can win by 10.5. That they're given that. That's just a slap in the face to everyone in the league. I think just look how bad they sucked, and and guess what? They're favored to beat you by 10.5. Yeah, I have a question mark, but I circled the Lions. I don't know. I mean, you know what? And the Packers, it could have been, hey, Aaron Rodgers all off season. I don't want to play. I may not play. I want out of the Packers. I want out of the. And maybe the team just, it's one of those times, like in the movie or the movie Replacements. They think he's throwing the game or something like that, and they all let him get tackled or something. I don't know what that was, or the prison one, longest yard. I don't know. And the team just lays down, and maybe they just laid down for a game to prove something to Aaron Rodgers and for screwing him over the offseason or something. But I'm taking the Lions. I don't know. I'll probably lose this one.
I'm just gonna take the Packers because I saw kind of how trash that Lions team was against my team. And then basically the same analogy that I used with the Bills. I feel like Green Bay was super embarrassed this last week by the Saints. And I just see them coming out wanting to really put it on the Lions hard to show that last week was a fluke and that, they're a much better team. And so I really see already in this season, week 2, this is a make or break game for Green Bay. They're at home for one. So are they going to lose to a shitty Detroit team in Lambeau at home? First home game of the season. They're at home. They know they have to show way more than they did last week. So I'm looking for them to just try to blow out the Lions on national TV. At home, national TV, and you really sucked last week. And you have last year's MVP, multiple-time MVP, basically the same team that went to the NFC Championship game against a crap Lions team. So I just have to pick Packers.
But I just had to go back and look at the score. The Niners, it was 41-33. And the Niners, when, in our fantasy, was one of the top top-ranked defenses in fantasy. And you still dropped 33 points on them. And I think that, in Green Bay's loss last week, they got a bunch of points. No matter – sure, maybe it turns out to be an offensive showdown, but I don't think either team has a defense to stop the other. So I don't think it's a 10.5 point game. We'll see.
Fair call. That's a fair call.
But yeah, well, that's it. The picks are in. They are immortalized, and Dave will probably catch up with me this week. So we'll see. It's a long season, and we'll see how things go. I got to get rid of this banner thing and get back over here and click that, and there we are. So, my friend, the beer is empty, and so I guess that just means that all we have left to do is say goodbye. Thank you for your early on Play It Thru person of the week, and I'm glad your friends got to spend their their anniversary at the game and be able to take in that experience. I'm sure. I don't think I've never been to a Division I college football game, and I bet the atmosphere is awesome. So maybe one day we'll get a Ducks game. We didn't even mention that. That was our graphic of the week. Probably the biggest football game of the week for us was Oregon defeating the number 3 team in the nation.
Well, we could have done a whole hour show on that. So.
Oh man, right? That was an amazing game. That was just fantastic. I didn't have a lot of hope going into the game. They haven't beat them 10 times before. It's been since the 60s or something.
1958.
58 since we last beat Ohio State.
We had never beaten them.
And we never trailed in that game. Mm-hmm. And Verdell was amazing. I'm so happy we have Ty and Verdell in the backfield still. That takes a load off of a young quarterback. And and you still have to respect that talent in the backfield. So our defense stood up even with Thibodeau out. That's if I said his name correctly. But I know I did read that we've lost another one top defender for this week. But so Oregon Ducks representing the Pac-12. Them and I see UCLA is crushing it right now, and Chip Kelly there finally, because he was on his way out. He was going to get fired, and so he's fighting for his job, and they're tearing it up at UCLA. So So anyway, cheers to the Ducks. That was our cover photo for their show this week, and so here's to them going into some point. Division 15 school this week, I think.
Stony Brook.
And
we'll get our backups in a lot this week. We should.
Yeah. So, so thanks for your wonderful insight, Dave. Your brain and and your knowledge of sports is always impressive. And why you don't work in some analyst for a TV show somewhere, I don't know.
Because I work for you, man.
Oh, yeah. Who wants to give that up? So thanks for being here this week. And thank you, everyone that's going to watch this show throughout the week. And when you do watch it throughout the week, make sure to put in the comments, reply to our picks, reply to, whatever. Tell us we're completely off our rockers on what we think or say. And we love it. We love engaging with all of our viewers. So have a fantastic week, Dave. And we'll see everyone next Wednesday, 8:00 on the Pacific West Coast. Bye.